one. Why, hello there, everyone! Fellow dragons and all the like. It is I, Dragon1195, here with Dragon Lens and Chelsea, aka the Ice Queen Bitch.
Yes, I am. What is up, freaks, creeps, and everything in between? And of course, you bitches out there. Bloodfang, your hostess with the mostess, is here once again for Something Sweet to Bite Part 4.
Yes, and let's just say things are gonna go down, alright? Things are finally starting to pick up with the horror factor, as in, it gets really good.
Oh yeah, and a little something to look forward to for Chapter 5. We'll be bringing on a very special guest.
Yes. So look forward to that. And also, I am going to be making the thumbnails, so in case if you guys were curious or confused as to why there was a weird thumbnail.
Yeah, Ashley's been doing the thumbnails for the series.
Yeah, that's a lot of fun.
And during December, just a reminder, we will be reacting to Home Sweet Home. So look forward to that.
It's a longer series, as in the videos are longer, so be ready for that.
Yeah, but it is a very, very well done fanfic, and to all of those who had taken part in this, well done. As well as something sweet to bite. So shall we get into it?
Yes, let us. I'm hearing things in your background.
There was a siren going on. I apologize for that. It happens. Anyways.
Great, apparently Pyramid Head was just trotting on by.
Ha! So anyways.
Yes.
Let us continue with part 4 of Something Sweet to Bite.
Yes.
Twilight was squeezing into her Nightmare Night costume as the first trick-or-treaters knocked on her door.
Oh, yeah.
After her Star Costume fiasco last year, she decided to go for a more subdued outfit.
Yeah, it does.
With a pair of glasses she borrowed a few weeks ago from Granny Smith and a white lab coat, she made herself a mad scientist with little trouble. It wasn't an especially original costume, but it was better than wearing the frilly things Rarity had tried to get her into.
She looked really pretty with
As she clipped her hair back into a conservative
especially with that bun in her hair.
The sound of fillies and colts singing for treats downstairs almost broke her heart.
Aww.
Yes, she and the others had decided that the Cutie Mark Crusaders would have to give up trick-or-treating for Nightmare Night as punishment for essentially stealing from her and Pinkie Pie both. Still, part of her thought it was a shame to take away such a fun activity,
and we can tell that the girls
fillies
do
that
not
didn't deserve it. Maybe she would let them collect just a little candy, so long as they weren't foolish enough to try and win that silly bet they made.
I blame Diamond Tiara and Silver Spoon.
Nightmare Night after all. A commotion from downstairs almost made Twilight stab herself in the ear with a hairpin.
Ooh,
she
ow.
leaned over the railing to see Spike, dressed as a knight in shining armor, struggling with a hairy beast for possession of the candy dish.
Pinkie Pie, are you crazy?
Yelled Twilight when she realized the monster had a smiling pink face sitting in the middle of its mouth.
Nah, I'm a puppy. Well, technically I guess I'm also hungry.
Pinkie, in her dog costume, looked down at the dazed and confused Spike, who was sitting with a half-empty candy dish.
Sorry,
poor Spike.
I guess I got a little carried away.
Look,
Just
Pinkie.
trying to stay in character.
Pinkie, we know.
The character of a dog? Asked Twilight.
I mean, she was chicken.
No, a puppy.
I mean,
Pinkie
she was
Pie
a chicken
wagging her
last
tail back
year,
and forth, as if for emphasis.
Hey, great tennis costume.
Yeah, that's the running joke here.
Trick-or-treaters for sure.
Thinking she's a
mad
dentist.
scientist, said Twilight, putting a hoof to her forehead. Her plan to go for a simpler costume had backfired on her already.
Oh no, why are you mad? Is it because you've got a headache?
Asked the Pinkie Puppy, tilting her head to the
Pinkie,
side.
you're
Just then,
absolutely
a screech
adorable.
filled the night, followed by cloud of
Whoa!
dust that washed into the library.
Someone apparently
Spike,
brought a
Twilight,
car
Pinkie,
in.
and the other trick-or-treaters all descended into coughing fits.
What's going on?
Demanded Twilight between coughs. Before she knew it, two fillies were hugging her tight. She almost broke loose of their grasp,
last
but stopped
chapter,
when she
oh
realized
my God,
it was
that was
Sweetie Belle and
fucked
Yeah,
Scootaloo.
especially what
Both of them were
Candy
shivering
had
as if
done.
it were the middle of winter.
Playing puppeteer with
scared the
AJ's
daylights
hat
out of them.
and Apple Bloom's skull.
Oh, Twilight, it was horrible.
I can only imagine
Said
how
Sweetie
that's
Belle
gonna look
between
when
sobs
Candy
starting and
does
stopping.
her
Pinkie
art
Pie and
with that.
Twilight did their best to calm the
Yes.
girls down as the other children decided now might be a good time to move on to other houses. It took a
Yeah,
while,
you kids get
but
out of here.
slowly, what remained of the Cutie Mark Crusaders related what happened at Sweet Apple Acres to Pinkie and Twilight.
Oh,
Neither
man.
pony understood what the fillies were talking about. until Scootaloo told them about Apple Bloom's half-eaten head being hurled from inside the
Oh
barn.
god, that was horrible.
Twilight couldn't help but have flashbacks to the story of the headless horse. Pinkie Pie,
Oh
on the
yeah,
other
the
hand,
story Rainbow
seemed to
Dash told.
grasp what was going on.
Thanks a
right
lot,
away.
Dashy.
I thought the book said if we took the candy to Nightmare Moon, right?
All the puppyish playfulness had fled from the pink pony
Mm-hmm.
as she grabbed Twilight by her lab coat, desperate for some kind of confirmation.
I don't know. That's what it sounded like the story meant to me. Ancient pony purification rituals aren't exactly something I'm well versed in.
Fair
Sure.
Whoever
enough.
thought this must be some elaborate prank or some kind of trick for the trio
Oh,
to
it
get out
is
of their
not. It
punishment.
is not.
However, the look on the terrified fillies' faces told her otherwise.
I just don't know, Pinkie. I've studied magic. I just don't know, Pinkie. I've studied magic, history, and science, but I never bothered with superstitions. I thought it was just stories made up by ponies trying to scare each other or explain phenomena they don't understand.
I'm not gonna be. I'll
didn't
be
think any
honest.
of it was
I'm not going to
real.
miss
Why did
Twilight.
you
I'm
tell
not
me
gonna miss
to take the
Diamond
statue
and
if you didn't think
Silver.
it would do anything?
Cause
Yeah.
Demanded Pinkie,
fuck
starting
them.
to
There's
panic.
those two little snaps that happened to
Thought
start
it
this.
would make you feel better.
offered
Oh.
lamely.
And it was a good excuse to confiscate the candy.
Ah,
She admitted,
Twilight.
blushing as she said it.
Twilight.
Guys?
And now you
What's
realize
going on?
that this is
Asked
beyond
Spike, completely lost as to what was going on.
Spike is completely clueless.
What's going on? I'll tell you what's going on. The 1,000-year-old spirit of Nightmare Night is alive and it's coming to gobble us up!
Yeah,
That
what she
is
said.
Screamed Pinkie Pie,
Yeah.
rising slightly
no,
into the
this
air
isn't-
before landing, huffing
And
and
luckily,
puffing
this
from how
isn't
bad she was
Nightmare
worked
Moon.
up.
This thing can actually.
Spike just
eat
stared
you.
at her. Then he started to laugh.
Good one, Pinkie. You almost had me going.
Spike wiped a
That's
tear
not
of
to
laughter
be
from
laughed
his
at.
eyes.
Hey, Twilight, I'm gonna go get some more candy from the
Yeah.
kitchen.
Wait, how
Some
much candy
pony
do you
cleaned
guys
me
have?
out.
Calm down,
Possibly a
Pinkie.
lot.
You're scaring the girls.
Twilight hugged
I
Scootaloo
mean,
and Sweetie Belle
considering
tight to
what
try and
they
reassure
had,
them.
what they had
She
seen,
wished someone could reassure
I think
her.
they're more
There's
traumatized. If
got
anything.
to be a logical explanation for this.
Yeah.
Sure, Twilight. Some pony chopped off Apple Bloom's head and did a ventriloquist act for the laughs.
Pinkie Pie said bitterly.
You said it best.
She
see?
shook her head at how stubborn her
Yeah,
friend was
really.
being.
I'm sorry, but we don't have time to stay here while you try to come up with an explanation that makes sense to you. We got to warn every pony to get off the streets and lock their doors. Nightmare Night is back, for real, and we're the only ponies who can stop it.
Pinkie Pie turned and ran out of the library, yelling at the top of her lungs for every pony to run for their lives.
Well,
Every
that's
pony
not
she ran past just paused
well,
long
it was
enough
an
to
attempt,
laugh, and
Pinkie.
then went right back to whatever they were doing.
I mean,
It wasn't unusual to see Pinkie Pie
considering
running
that
and
this is
screaming on Nightmare
normal
Night.
What do
by
we do,
her
Twilight?
standards.
Should we try to warn every pony like Pinkie?
Nope,
Asked
not like
Scootaloo,
that.
looking at the unicorn
Please
with
God,
soulful
no.
eyes,
No. No pony would believe us given what night it is.
said Twilight, despairing.
True.
But maybe if we could convince some pony in authority, like Mare, I bet she could get the word out.
Well,
Once every
it's
pony
not
knows
like
what's
Luna
going
was in
on,
the area,
I'm sure we
so
can
I
fix
guess
this.
that was the
Sweetie
explanation.
Belle and Scootaloo smiled slightly.
Somehow.
Boy, please tell me this is when it happens. 'cause
Oh,
I'm
it
gonna be
is.
very-
Here it comes. We're gonna get it all good.
Oh, my
Yes!
Celestia.
Yes! It's this thing!
Yes!
Daddy dropped us up here to trick or treat.
Diamond
Oh,
Tiara was
I've been looking
furious.
forward
It was
to
bad
this.
enough Daddy was actually making her collect her own candy this year. Always before he'd have one of his underlings do it
Melty,
for
you
her.
magnificent
But tonight
bastard.
he was
Thank you
making
so
her go
much.
door to door
Thank
at
you,
shops he did
Filthy
business
Rich.
with. These stupid little mom and pop shops were so cheap. They didn't even have real candy on offer. If they had anything at all, it was little lollipops or mints they had year-round for ponies who were shopping with their foals. She almost felt like ripping off her fairy princess costume, wings and all, and marching home.
Oh.
Good. Nobody would
Down,
nobody would
DT.
miss you.
It's only for a few hours, and then we can head back to our side of town like
yeah,
last
like it's
year.
the Valley Girl
Said Silver Spoon,
stuff.
trying to calm her down. She was also dressed as a fairy princess. However, Diamond Tiara had convinced her to leave her wings at home. They had been larger than Diamond Tiara's, and
Wow.
if she had to put up with trick-or-treating, she wasn't about to have her friend strutting around in a better costume.
Wow.
She let
You
her keep her
little
crown, though.
shit.
Otherwise,
Yeah.
how would any pony know they were both princesses?
Then we can get all the candy we want. Put those 3 little blank blanks in their place.
Yeah, have fun
This
having
is
early
so
diabetes.
Tedious.
Furious Philly wasn't willing to be comforted
I
just
cannot
yet.
Wait for Candy
I mean,
to gobble
What
you two
was
little
the
shits
point
up.
of getting
Yes.
Daddy to buy all that candy for us if we
Their
still
attitude
have
was
to
so
go door
bitter,
to
yet they must
door?
taste so sweet.
Let's just get this over with.
Silver Spoon knocked at the door
I'm
to
sorry.
Rarity's boutique. Many of the shops they'd been forced to visit so far had been closed, or some pony out front in a bad costume with a candy dish full of coupons.
Really?
This was the first shop they'd actually
Who
had
would
to
give out
knock at.
coupons?
They
I
were
have
about
no
to turn and
fucking
leave
idea.
when a voice
Honestly, I
drifted
take
from
the
behind the
coupons.
door.
Just one moment.
I love you, Rarity.
Diamond Tiara stamped
We
her
love
hooves
ya,
and gave a
Rarity,
little
yeah.
groan, and Silver Spoon just shrugged. They waited.
Oh.
A chill breeze swirled a few wisps of fog along the
Already
most
getting-
Here it
deserted
comes,
street.
people.
It had been so empty before. It was mildly surprising when they noticed another filly skipping towards
Oh,
them, dodging
boy.
and weaving between the poles of light from the street lamps. There was a sound of the laughter of children on the wind,
Oh, great.
thought the snobby fillies as one.
Company.
The other trick-or-treater drew closer, giggling the entire way as she skipped up to the drive towards them. As she came into the half-light spilling from the windows of Verity's boutique, both fillies took an involuntary step backwards. The newcomer was covered in candy from her head to her
Oh
hooves.
boy.
Every
Candy,
last
show
part of
these
her had
little
a shimmering,
snacks no
shining
mercy.
wrapper or a sparkly
I
shade
recognize this
coating.
music.
Even her mane and tail looked like
I
they were
recognize this
made from
music.
red
It's
and black
Mayu.
licorice. She
Oh,
came to
shit.
stop
I
just
recommend
inches from
checking the
Silver
guy's
Spoon.
channel out.
She stared at
he's
her with
great at making
wide
music
eyes
like
that were
this.
hidden behind
Oh,
some
yeah, I
kind of
love
lollipop
music.
swirl lenses,
Nice costume.
said Diamond Tiara sarcastically,
Oh.
expertly turning fear into unreasonable hatred in an
Wow.
instant.
Oh, what are you supposed to be? A walking pile of garbage?
You know-
The strange filly grinned,
You're just
bearing
as-
large, sharp teeth.
You're
honey, you are
asking
just
for it.
Each tooth had a
asking to
yellow,
be.
orange, and white pattern of a candy
You're just
corn.
asking for
As her
it.
grin
Shut the
grew,
fuck up.
Her body seemed to grow to match her smile.
Oh.
She wasn't a filly. She was a full-grown pony. No,
Ooh.
she was even bigger than that. She reared
Monster.
back on her hind
This is
hooves and suddenly
definitely,
reached out to grab them with
Candy's
front
type.
limbs that had magically sprouted
Oh,
claws.
shit.
The long, sharp shards of what looked like peanut brittle snatched her
Oh!
up and dug deep into
Oh!
Silver Spoon's tender flesh as she was lifted
I'm
into
not-
the air.
Oh,
Blood spurted
that is
all over her
gruesome,
dress,
but I
ruining it
love
as
it.
she shrieked from the pain. The
Scream,
wires
bitch,
of Diamond Tiara's wings
scream!
spared her from this
Whoa!
initial agony, at least. Unfortunately, that just meant that as Silver Spoon cut herself deeper and deeper, writhing like a trapped
God
animal,
damn it!
Diamond Tiara had an excellent view of what came next. The Candy Mare's grin grew so wide, it looked like it would split the top of her head. With a snicker that slithered over her
that's
face,
horrible.
her maw shifted, flowing from her
Oh,
head.
God.
The orifice traveled down her neck and over the length of her forelimb that held Silver Spoon's blood-drenched
Oh,
form.
God.
The teeth slid over Silver Spoon's skin like a bandsaw,
Oh,
gouging deep
God
and bloody
damn
rivets
it.
into what little flesh remained undamaged, sending up a pink
Damn it,
mist as
Randy,
bits of
what the
meat fell into the
fuck?
chips and pieces.
You really are a
The
messy
filly
eater.
howled in pain and terror
Yeah,
as she was
messy
literally
eater is an
eaten alive,
understatement.
the
Jesus
mouth
Christ.
opening and closing around the body as it gobbled her
Ah,
down,
that
bit
sucks.
at a
Ah,
time.
that sawing motion.
Finally, the Candy Mare's hoof swelled into a giant grin and swallowed Silver Spoon's torso and still screaming head. It sent a gush of blood trickling over
Oh,
the beast's
God
candy form while
damn.
the mouth shrunk back and crushed the half-eaten filly like a grape. The mouth burped and grinned wide as the
Wow.
empty hoof was turned towards Diamond Tiara. Then, in the filly's own voice, the mouth said,
Nice costume, nice costume.
over and
Oh, that's
over, bloody
creepy.
claws twitching around the gore-soaked maw. Diamond Tiara tried to break the monster's grip, tried with all her might, knowing in her heart she was too young and rich to
No,
die.
you're not.
Young and
Laughing,
rich.
a second mouth opened in the palm of her hoof
Okay,
that
that's
held
funny.
her,
Randy,
taking
we're-
several bites out of the
After
unicorn's back as she struggled and squealed, blood gushing from her as it had from her friend.
Congratulate her on
Something gave way.
I will
at
happily
last,
give
and she
a
dropped
piece
from the
of
monster's
pokey cake to her.
grasp. She thought she
Yeah.
had done
And
it,
chocolate's
gotten
over,
away,
too.
managed to slip from the blood-soaked wire that had become her fairy wings. She was about to run as fast as her hooves could carry her, when she noticed she wasn't standing on solid ground.
Nope, it's not
Soft,
solid ground.
Spongy licorice.
Oh.
The tendrils of candy wrapped around her like living things and coiled tightly around her little body.
Ow!
She could feel the ends
God,
probing
that
and
is
biting
nasty.
wounds into her back, the tendrils forcing their way under her skin. She could feel
God
as
damn
each
it, that
strand
is
painfully
nasty.
slithered back and forth inside her
Oh,
flesh,
God.
moving deeper inside her, through muscle and bone to
Oh,
bone.
God,
And the last
Randy,
moments before she was
why?
ripped to pieces,
Oh,
she couldn't help
my
but think,
God.
Daddy.
The Candy Mare only laughed harder,
Okay, that
dancing
line.
in a shower of viscera she tore the filly apart above her head, gobbling up goblets of pony gore with mini candy mouths opening and closing all over her body.
Pause.
She tore
Oh,
the filly
God.
apart above her head,
Okay, sorry
gobbling
people,
up
we are
goblets of
back.
pony gore with
I had
mini
to put
candy
some
mouths
Cool Whip
opening
on
and
the
closing
pokey
all
cake.
over her body.
Yeah, and
Sorry that
Anyways.
took so long.
Said Rarity as she opened the door.
Oh.
Rarity.
I just couldn't let myself be seen without the proper accessories. And
Of
my
course,
spider silk
Rarity.
chiffon wrap is so hard to see once you set it down.
Rarity looked around at the scene on her front stoop.
She
The spider
was taking
ornament
that long
clipped
to
in her
happen.
expertly styled mane was particularly fetching.
Oh my, I
Oh,
guess
oh.
they lost interest. Too bad. I've got an entire bowl of marshmallow treats and so far nobody has had the patience to take one.
Rarity frowned slightly.
To be honest, I
She
wouldn't mind
noticed a
trying.
single, beautifully wrapped piece of candy sitting on her stoop.
Put a
Usually
marshmallow.
trick-or-treaters took candy.
Put a candy
didn't
emoji
leave
in
it.
the comments
Still,
if you know the
it would be
if you know
ashamed
the
to let it go to
reference
waste.
or the
Looking back
meme.
and forth up the road, she grabbed the candy with her magic, then
I'll
turned
put the
and
link
went
in the
back
description so you
inside.
guys can check
She
it out for
couldn't see the
yourselves.
lone trick-or-treater
Yeah,
skipping merrily
like,
away in the
aw.
thickening fog.
I
though
feel
the
so bad
bloodstains
for
that
these
trailed
kids
behind
and these
her as the
ponies.
street
God, I
lamps
know what's
flickered
going to
off
happen.
Yeah.
by one.
Ugh.
That's disturbing.
Anyway, said
Oh,
Nightmare Night!
I need to speak with you!
Twilight Sparkle had
Oh,
to
that's
yell
gonna
to be heard over the thumping bass. The Ponyville costume dance contest was in full swing, and the
You know
mayor
that
was
music,
sitting on
right?
the stage watching every
Oh
pony
hell
dance.
yeah! Like Mike the
Twilight
Mike with
wished they
Brody
hadn't
dance
gotten
party in
Vinyl
the
Scratch, the
way.
famous DJ
Ah,
Palm
that was a
to
great
MC for the
song.
celebration.
Of course
The
they
music
brought in
was rattling
vinyl.
the teeth in her skull, not to mention
of
making it
course.
difficult to be heard.
Good evening, Miss Sparkle. What a lovely Dennis costume.
Said the
There
mayor.
it is!
She was
There's
dressed in
that
the same
costume.
clown outfit she wore last year, the rainbow wig hiding her hair, though her spectacles were still perched on her red clown nose.
I'm not.
I mean, that's easier
Never
to
mind.
keep it hold of.
I have to speak with you. It's extremely urgent.
Twilight leaned in as close as she could, both so she could be more easily
Oh,
heard and to
boy.
keep anyone
Oh,
nearby from
Twilight.
overhearing. Not that there was much risk of
God.
that.
There's a killer on the loose and every pony needs to go home.
What?
Hollered
Oh.
back the mayor, clearly not
Well,
understanding.
here it comes!
Perhaps not even
This
really
feels like out of
hearing.
Hocus Pocus,
Was her
this
wig
moment
covering
here.
up her ears?
Mm-hmm.
I said
The unicorn took a deep breath and screamed.
there's a killer on the loose and every pony needs to go home now.
Ugh.
The music chose that precise moment to end. Every pony on the dance floor stopped in mid-step
Yeah, sorry
and
about
stared
the
up
people.
at the
Need to
stage
go and,
where the mayor and
close the
Twilight
blinds.
stood. The
Or
ponies who had
curtains.
been playing festival games, even the ones bobbing for apples, faces still dripping, stared as well.
Ruh.
DJ Pone 3 herself pushed her glasses
Oh
up,
boy.
a stunned look in her rose-colored eyes.
It's like,
For her
dude,
part,
like, what the
Mayor
hell is
Mare
that all
looked completely
about?
dumbfounded.
Yeah, really.
That was until the first wave of laughter started in the audience. The
Oh
more laughter,
God.
nervous at first, followed quickly by the mayor's own heartfelt gawfles.
Twilight, what a marvelous nightmare night prank.
oh boy.
Examined the
this
clown
isn't
mare
a-
between
this isn't a
heartfelt
prank.
laughs.
Oh, it wouldn't be funny otherwise, but I don't think any pony expected it from you.
Oh, it's more,
Let's
it's
have
not a
a round
joke.
of applause for Miss
You're
Sparkle.
called Mare,
The
you're
sound
about
of stomping
to
and laughter
be
was
met with a
thunderous as
bloodshed.
Twilight whirled back and forth,
It
trying
was
to
at
make
this
some
moment
pony
that they knew
listen.
They fucked
Sweetie
up.
Belle and Scootaloo both were with her, shouting how it was true, how every pony had to listen. But the music had already restarted, and their voices, as well as Twilight's,
Rainbow
were
Factory!
drowned out once
Or
more.
maybe
that
it's
was a
They'd
great
missed their
one.
chance and ended up being dismissed just as Pinkie Pie had. It might have
Or
ended
maybe
there.
it's Pegasus
Twilight could
device.
have given up and gone home
Oh,
with her
that's
head
also a
hung
really
low.
good one too.
Or perhaps she could have had a stroke of genius and sent word to the palace, to Celestia or Luna, to inform them about the
Get
terrible
Luna,
danger she
for
feared
God's
they were
sake,
in.
get Luna!
Before any of those
Yeah.
possibilities could come to pass, fog spilled into the center
Oh
of
no,
town,
the fog!
dampening the
Oh,
light of the
God.
stars and choking the harvest moon.
Oh
It
no.
crept in slowly at first, its tendrils muffling the distant delighted screams of trick-or-treaters.
Oh,
As the
God.
mist sleeted through the crowd,
The only one who didn't seem
every
to get caught in
electric
this
light on the
mess
string
is
of pumpkins
Rainbow.
lights that decorated the dance
Thank
floor
God for
died.
that, but
one
like, oh
by
God, that's
Like,
one.
what the hell
The music
happened down
suddenly
here?
cut off, The silence
A
was
complete
immediately
shit
filled
show,
by the
that's
sound
what.
of a disappointed and
I
confused
guess I
crowd.
really am awesome to
The
avoid
full
death.
moon rode fat in the sky above,
Do you
its
really
glow
wanna jinx
suffusing
that
the scene
rainbow?
of the orange light. No pony heard the laughter at first.
Oh no.
No pony, that is, but Twilight and
Here
the
it
two
comes.
fillies that had heard it before.
Oh,
It was
God.
quiet, but it had a way of warming into your soul. At last,
Oh,
there she
God.
was, standing just inside the thickest part of the mists.
Oh, fuck.
Death smiling so
Hi,
happily.
Candy.
She
how
seemed
are you,
fit to
hon?
burst. The candy mare grinned like a
Oh,
skull
no.
stripped of its flesh, her candy body glistening in the moonlight, already soaked from head to
God.
hoof in blood. Her mane, licorice whips, writhed like a nest of serpents. Sharp, jagged
like
chunks of
like
candy
Medusa.
unsheathed all over her body like curling horns and claws.
Oh,
Tiny
that's
mouths
creepy.
opened and closed all over her form, issuing the sounds of childish mirth in a ceaseless babble. As the laughter
Oh,
seeped
that's
into
horrifying.
every heart like ice water, it suddenly
Oh,
changed.
God.
Music
Okay,
returned
so
to the town
there
square
was
as each
one
tiny
part
mouth
of
sang
this
in mini voice.
That just completely just...
A new
God, it
verse.
freaked me out on so many levels.
This is
By this
basically
point, even the dullest of the crowd had a good
no,
look at the mare
Freddy
made of
thing
candy.
from
They
Nightmare
took
on
in
Elm
the
Street
multiple
thing.
mouths singing all over
Oh,
the creature's
God.
body.
That's what that
the
reminds
blood
me of.
hanging all over the creature's
creepy.
body, the blood-stained teeth and claws, and the
It's
look of
Nightmare
pure
Night,
madness in her
bitch.
candy eyes. It was almost
Oh,
enough
my
to start a
God.
panic,
I'm
but
sorry.
there were still those waiting for the joke.
It's not a
Nightmare
joke.
Night had never been
This
this
is far
frightening.
from a joke.
Surely
You are
this was
all
some
in
kind
very
of
much
magic
danger.
trick at play. A single tendril of
Oh,
licorice
no!
reached out and snatched up a cute little
Oh,
claw.
God!
Was
This
his
is the
name
one I was...
Pipsqueak?
The one that
With the
just...
flick of a candy
Ow!
claw, it was impossible to tell. His flesh was
Ow!
unzipped from his body
Why?
to his throat, and in a single swift motion, his hide was torn from his flesh, leaving only meat on his tiny bones as his guts splattered on the dance floor.
Chelsea, you
He twitched
okay?
and squealed in agony, feeling
Oh,
the
it
cold
freaked
autumn
me the
air
hell
stabbing
out.
him from all sides
I
like
don't blame
knives.
ya.
The brain inside his fragile skull went into blush shock rather than deal with the pain. Fortunate, as the candy mare chose that moment to hold his dripping form over her eager mouth, she began by slowly sucking the meat off his bones, showing every sign of relishing the taste before worrying the tiny coil of intestines that spilled from his abdomen. At this point, a sufficiently large gathering stops from being a group of
That was
individuals
probably the worst
and
bit
becomes
of
a
this.
single complex organism.
That was the one
Crowds
that
are
just-
like
At
that.
least the others have a quicker
Perfectly
death.
calm, rational being in other
Dude,
circumstances
that is horrible.
can become a frothing
Especially to a young
hate-monger in the
colt.
wrong company
Uh,
without ever
I'll be
really
honest, I
realizing
saw
it.
the images
Other
in my
times,
head
an
and they were
individual who would
horrible.
otherwise be
I
outgoing
know what you
in
mean.
the life of the party can become sombed and worse in a
Candy,
gathering
we're
of
having
moaning
a talk about
individuals.
this later.
This effect varies in strength, of course. Sometimes the
Good
organism is
Lord,
lethargic.
man.
Others, it is almost painfully alert. A crowd can be slow to action, and then there are other times when the mood can switch in an instant. In this instant, the panic was immediate. An ancient fear gripped the crowd in talons of pure terror, and more than a little madness entered
Yep.
every eyes as they began
Now
to
they're on
stampede.
the run.
Ponies ran in every
Oh,
direction,
God.
trying futilely to get far away from the monster that had come
Jesus, you
into their
freaking-
midst as possible.
And,
They trampled over
in a
one
panic?
another in their attempts to flee.
Oh, God,
As the
freaking
decorations and
sound
festival
effects.
stands were knocked
Ugh.
over, more and more ponies became tangled up in the wreckage, or were literally crushed beneath the hooves of those who were trying to clamber over the prone forms. More and more of them became easy prey. From up on stage,
Ugh.
Twilight could see many citizens were
Ow,
stomping
that
one
sounds
another to death in their
horrible.
struggle to escape from the fate that they never imagined. They killed one another in their
God.
eagerness to stay alive. It was a
Ugh.
scene out of a nightmare as the creature with the candy corn grin went to work. A group of ponies found their heads forced down into the tubs for the apple bobbing, licorice whips wrapping tight around their necks, their bodies spasmed and thrashed as they drowned, their hooves still on dry land.
Why?
Others, less fortunate, were being
Oh
corralled
my
into mouths that
God.
gaped all over the
Ugh.
candy mare by long
Oh
arms
my
of living
God,
candy
that is
covered with
nasty.
snipping and flashing
It is a
claws.
carnage after
Some
all.
ponies were torn to pieces before being gobbled, while
Oh,
others were swallowed
God.
whole.
Is it weird
Those
that
fortunate
is it weird
were
that
those
sound
who found
effect actually
themselves
sounds
at the
kind of
mercy
cool?
of the whirring
In a gross kind of
Saw
way,
like
yeah.
structure
But, oh
and
god,
form.
that's
Another sound effect!
Bits and pieces, their bodies littered the dance
The sound
floor
effects
as
were
they tried
absolutely
desperately to
on
I
drag
guess you could
themselves
say
away,
it's blood on the
God.
dance
abandoning their
floor.
amputated
Literally.
limbs, some having only their
Oh
torso
god,
for
that is
locomotion.
horrible.
It
That is
wasn't long until the
horrible.
blood didn't just smear the dance floor, but actively began to puddle, then to flood. All was confusion as
Oh, that
ponies
is
slipped and
so
slid in the
twisted.
darkness and fog. Twilight turned to the mare. Mare's face had gone pale beneath her makeup, and her eyes held the distant look of some pony in a trance. Perhaps she had been driven mad. There
Oh
would be
yeah,
no hope
anyone
there.
would be driven mad after
They
seeing
didn't
that.
deserve this.
Who
The
wouldn't?
citizens of Ponyville.
Not even
Some pony had
therapy
to
could
stop
help
this
it.
now. Twilight leapt from the stage, her horn blazing with magic that
Come on,
lit the scene
Twilight!
from hell in violet hues.
Stop right there, you monster!
She yelled.
I
Oh,
won't let you
boy.
harm another pony!
Her rage and desperation were
Yeah.
tempered by shock. To her surprise, the Candy Mare had indeed ceased her slaughter upon hearing her words. Her living candy mane
God.
slithered back to hang lifelessly from her skull. Her claws retracted, and she visibly seemed to shrink.
Oh,
Even her
god
mouth behaved,
damn.
slithering back
Oh.
in place on her face, though it remained locked in a manic grin. Many ponies took advantage of the lull in the chaos to make their escape, while others were either too badly injured, stunned, or dead to move.
Oh god.
The monster whispered in a single tiny voice, sharp teeth clipping each word.
I used to love unicorns ever so much. They were glorious. They could do anything. I wanted to see them.
That is.
I wanted to be like them.
Oh man.
Oh
Was that
god, that hurt.
Remorse in that tiny voice?
Now I am.
With a gush of blood and madness from
Oh,
hundreds of
God.
tiny mouths, the Candy Mare's entire body morphed into a wall of claw-covered candy tendrils that surged toward Twilight Sparkle. Without a moment to spare, Twilight used her
God.
magic to fling a table in the oncoming creature's path.
She
Smashed to
literally flipped the
splinters,
table.
the Candy Mare barely pawed as
Uh.
she destroyed the impediment. However, Twilight had bought herself a few precious seconds to mount a better defense. The wave of death crashed against a magical bubble Twilight had hastily erected, the barrier blowing the questing tentacles individual pieces of candy. A single clawed arm pierced the magic shell,
Ugh.
slicing open Twilight's cheek. But that was the extent of her injury
Oh,
before
God.
the arm exploded within the magical field.
Oh god.
The monster roared in pain and outrage. Twilight merely lowered her horn and began to pick the creature apart bit
Ooh.
by bit, tearing
Tear
huge chunks
apart,
of candy
indeed.
from the beast. The Candy Mare reeled from the attack, staggering
Ah,
back, trying
that
to move out of
sounds
range
so
of the unicorn's
wrong.
spell. Twilight paused when she realized the monster was solid. Wings and tendrils sprouted from her form, ripping not at pony flesh, but at air and earth. The injured candy pony was actually trying to flee.
Don't let it escape! If we don't stop it here, it will haunt the dark places of Equestria, growing stronger, and come back again next year. Some pony, any pony, use your magic to help me end her now!
Vinyl
Good job,
Scratch was the
Twilight.
first unicorn to join in
Yeah.
the attack, her horn gleaming.
Sorry,
Lyra
Candy.
and a few other unicorns who were in the crowd
This is
quickly
pretty
followed
epic.
suit.
Yeah,
The
it
Candy
is.
Mare rallied, sending another claw appendage to flay open one of Lyra's legs, but it didn't have enough force behind it to do any real damage. The unicorns focused their magic and began to blast and rip masses of sweets away. They were literally
Oh,
taking the
that's-
candy
that's
pony
messed up.
apart, piece by piece, weakening her until all she could manage was to writhe in an angry ball. By the time it was over, there was almost nothing left of the once terrifying monster. As the fog
God
began to
damn.
clear and the stars once again graced the night sky, a small, still
God.
form shivered and pulsed among the scattered candies and pools of blood.
This is the second time a unicorn has tried to kill me.
And
Croaked a
I'll
voice
say
just
this
on the
right
edge
now,
of
it's
hearing.
heartbreaking
The
that
shriveled creature,
someone.
filly-sized,
It's
chunks of
heartbreaking
candy
that this
falling from her
happened.
body, rose to its hooves.
He smelled a lot like you.
This seemed to be addressed to Twilight herself. The Candy Mare's
Ah.
words quivered, but not with anger as one would expect. Rather,
That is
her voice had the real fear of a child at their
This is
core,
heartbreaking and
one who should have been
disturbing.
Yeah,
dead a
you'll
long
know
time
why.
ago.
Even
Oh
He
yeah.
had so much power. Sure, there's anything you couldn't do, but he didn't know how to use it. He didn't know how to make friends. All he knew how to do was take. So he took what he needed from others.
The candy mare
She was a
really
filly
did
when
look
she turned
just like
into
a
this
filly
thing.
now. One
Yeah.
that was nothing but
God,
skin and
it's
bones, its
heartbreaking.
face in shadow.
I know.
Their friendship, their families, their lives. He just took and took and took. He never gave.
The candy filly moved in a series of jerks,
Like-
as if she couldn't make her
God.
limbs obey anymore. The tenor of her voice changed.
I learned to take as well. Wretched. And the first
He
thing
deserved
I
it, to
took
be
was
honest.
his wretched life. I've been taking life after life after life for thousands of years. Slowly, sweet. And when your princess in the night could only put me to sleep, she couldn't stop me. You could do better. I have a question for you. All of you.
What was left of her continued to shrivel and peel away, collapsing on itself. The candy mare lifted her face to Twilight Sparkle, little more than an empty-eyed skull, and grinned hugely as she hissed.
Oh, God.
At the question, a wave of darkness lifted up the skull and sent it
Oh,
screaming through
God.
the air, trailing wisps of greenish fog behind it, aimed straight for Twilight's
Oh, no!
face. She had
Oh,
no time to
God.
dodge
Oh,
or craft a
God. Oh,
counterspell.
God.
Closing her eyes against the maw of teeth that filled her vision,
Ah!
she braced herself for the pain of their bite. It was
What?
pain that never
Oh.
came. A sound like a flower pot being smashed into pieces echoed in her ears. As she opened her eyes, she found Pinkie Pie standing over the
Pinkie!
shattered skull. Apparently, at the last moment, she had leapt out and smashed the howling skull into the earth. Pinkie ground one part
Oh,
beneath her
God.
hooves,
Ugh.
gummy brains splattering her legs.
Ugh.
So that
Ew.
part was made of sugar too.
Wait,
Mused
Pinky,
the
how
pink
do you
pony
know that?
absently.
I don't
She's
want to
kind
know.
of like a pinata.
I don't want to know. I really
Well,
do
if
not
a
want to know.
pinata could haunt the darkness for thousands of years and prey on the flesh of the living.
She smiled
Pinky,
grimly
you're
at Twilight.
scary.
It's
No
not
shit.
over, you know.
As she said
Oh,
this,
no.
Twilight
Oh,
could
God.
see that her friend spoke the truth. Bits of candy were
God.
rolling around the
Why
dance
don't you
floor
just
trying
burn
to
the damn
reform.
thing?
A hoof was taking shape here and an
God.
ear over there. Even the sugar skull was trying
That's
to piece
not
itself
good.
back
That's
together,
not good.
Nope, nope,
one
nope,
fragment at a time.
Oh.
Pinkie took a deep breath,
She really is
then
a
exhaled
homunculus.
before saying,
There's only one way to get rid of candy
No!
and Nightmare Night.
to
Pinky!
Twilight's horror,
Pinky,
Pinkie
no!
put her head down in the mud and blood and started to eat.
Ah,
candy
no!
crunching loudly between her
Ah,
teeth.
You
But
don't eat
once she
candy
swallowed
on
it
the
down,
ground,
the other bits
especially
of
if
living
it's...
candy seemed to slowed.
Dude,
The other
I
ponies
think that's
joined in,
Alicia the problem.
Scootaloo
You
and
know
Sweetie
what's
Belle
going to happen
especially,
in the next
eating
chapter.
up as much candy as they
Uh-huh.
could find. Twilight felt a wave of revulsion as the
Oh,
pony
God.
ate sweets that still had bits of their friends stuck to them.
Ah.
Every pony seemed to understand that even most contaminated pieces had to be eaten
No,
if
no,
they were
no,
going
no,
to
no,
put a
no,
stop to
no,
the candy
no.
mare.
That is a
Swallowing
horrible
that
idea.
gorge,
You have no
Twilight
idea
found
that
a
you
piece
just
of
got. You
slightly
guys
less
literally
bloody-soaked
just.
candy and did her
I don't
best
think
not
even
to
I
vomit
don't
as
even
she
think the
joined
scary
in.
godmother would
The
actually
taste of blood and
allow
chocolate
that.
mixed disgustingly on her palate.
I think it
As
just
the fog
burnt.
cleared completely and the moon started to sink towards the horizon, the town square was filled with the sounds of ponies sobbing.
Oh, that is
And
so
eating.
many levels of wrong. Ew. Just ew.
Major, no.
Oh my God, that was so twisted. Okay,
Yeah.
everybody. So we managed to
Ugh.
we managed to actually get through chapter 4.
What did you think
Oh.
of this?
It's just as gruesome as I remember, and that
Ugh.
part with Pipsqueak was just as awful as I remember.
Yeah, I just
Oh, that
want
was.
to say is,
Oh God.
out of all that's happened, that bit I have to agree is the most. Ugh.
Oh, that was gross. That made my stomach churn. And like I said earlier, for those who've listened to this or read the original fan fiction, you guys know what's going to happen. And oh God, we are not looking forward to that. But it is definitely going to be an interesting conclusion. That's for sure.
Yeah, and let's be fair here. That part with the Diamond Tiara and Silver Spoon was, while it was horrendous, or should I say horrific, it was also
Yeah.
kind of funny.
Oh hell yeah! Considering
Especially
what they
the
were.
thanks, Daddy. That was your last words, girl.
Don't blame your dude. You brought this on yourselves. Don't fucking bring your father into this.
You had to basically go with a stupid bet.
Thanks a lot, Dime. Well, I hope you two are proud of yourselves. I'm sure as hell not. And if anything, Filthy did a good thing.
Yes. Oh, thanks, Celestia. No more child support.
That was horrible, dude. Oh my god. Oh my god.
I'm
Okay,
sorry.
everybody. Okay, everybody. So until like we mentioned in the beginning, we'll be having a very special guest joining us for the finale. So be sure to look forward to that, and we will see you next time.
Yes, I will basically say this. This is better Candified Monster because this is the original and far more better than a so-called Candy Maestro that makes no sense. Anyways, without further ado, we'll see you all later. Till then, do the loo, everyone.
Stay freaky, my friends.